Hello everyone, and welcome back to Creeper World 3. Before we get started here, I'd like to do just a little bit of housekeeping. So I think I mentioned in a previous episode that it might be the case that we could end up doing entire systems in a single episode if I revert to the shorter format where I just kind of show you what I was doing before I get to a more stable point and then sort of go through the rest of the level there. And having tried some of these other levels, I no longer think that's tenable. Which, honestly, I kind of was being super optimistic there. I didn't really think that... Like, I thought there was a decent chance that I would find that to be something we couldn't do. But, yeah, I have now confirmed it. These two levels prove to be quite a pain in the butt, especially this one here, Fernalizen, or something like that. I don't know. These ones have weird names. But anyway, yeah, so the plan is still maybe 2 or 3 planets in an episode. I'm thinking 2, just because these ones are proving to be quite difficult. If I come across a couple that aren't so difficult, then I might do 3, just to get through it a little bit quicker. But yeah, these levels are starting to kick my butt now, so yeah, I'm gonna have to slow down a little bit. But also, I think in general, I'm going to start to slow down a little bit here on Creeper World, just because I'm starting to feel a little burned out. I got to admit, not so much that I'm like, ugh, playing more Creeper World, gross. It's like, no, I still like this game. It's cool. It's just like I can feel it a little more as like I don't want to slog my way through these levels for this long as much anymore. So in an effort to sort of slow myself down and recover a little bit, I am probably going to cut back on uploading once a week for Creeper World, at least for the foreseeable future. And the way I plan to do it right now is I have a backlog of other videos that I want to edit. And so I'm thinking that once I get done editing that, then maybe I'll focus a little bit more on Creeper World. So yeah, that's the plan, is I am going to be slowing down on uploads for a bit. If you're watching this in the future after all these episodes are up, then I guess it doesn't matter too much and you can just ignore all this, but I just wanted to give a quick update for those who are watching as these are coming out. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and see what these levels are like. So as per usual, I have started these, like I've kind of got my own foothold here. And for this one, I just tried to grab. I tried to grab this guy. This one is a conversion thing, so it'll turn a bunch of creeper into anti-creeper. And as you can see, I also just tried to get my power grid up fairly quickly. And what I did with that converter, which we'll see in a minute. Alright, so grab the converter, and then I fired it into here to convert that big old bunch of stuff into anti-creeper, which will hopefully help slow down the creeper a little bit and give us time to expand. And then with the reprieve granted by that, I was in fact able to get myself a bit of a foothold. I've got my beam defenses set up, and they do seem to be holding back the spores that are coming at us. When they come in, it is still a little bit, like you can see my economy is just tanking a little bit, which is why I'm kind of having to alternate building this the reactor here. But at least we're stable. Like, I'm holding the line here. I've got a sprayer holding the southern flank. The northern flank is a little iffy right now because I don't have a whole lot of room to work with. But at the very least, I managed to get a foothold here. And then after holding my ground there for a little bit, I eventually got myself a terp. I just expanded my reactors as much as I possibly could. I started making the level 10 platform as per usual. And that to me is really the surest sign that, we're doing okay, that I can support not only 1 but 2 terps here, which are pretty expensive to run. But we're doing it anyway, and we're still holding our ground. So yeah, this is the point where it really was starting to turn in our favor quite a bit more. see I got some more support up here on the northern flank. I was mentioning that was a little bit iffy earlier, but no, I got that all covered, and now it's just a matter of building up this platform so we have a secure place to start expanding from. And so at this point, I have basically completed my my big platform here, and I have made my reactor grid a bit more evenly spaced, so it's just a bit more efficient. And in a minute here, I hope to grab that totem and start my upgrades. And then once our upgrades, in particular economy and power fire rate, rather, as usual, then I expect to start pushing out in the very near future. Got my upgrades established. Started to get a few range and rate upgrades just to make sure that range. I think we get the most benefit out of range from the beams because they can hit the spores from farther, which keeps us that much safer. But even still, being able to hit farther with my my mortars, especially, that's another one that tends to benefit quite a lot from that. That's also quite helpful. And then I've expanded my platform just a little bit so we can get just a little bit more ore. And importantly, I've also gotten some berthas. How exactly I'm going to take out that... I want to take out this emitter so I can work on the spores, on the spore tower. But I'm not sure exactly how I want to approach it from here. But I think just a couple of pulse guns should probably be enough, but we'll have to see about that. There we go. Okay. Alright, I think that should do it. Sweet. Okay. That helps quite a lot, actually, because that will take the pressure off the central region. And along the same lines, I think I should probably make this guy my next target. So let's go ahead and start expanding in that direction. Excellent. I accidentally deactivated my forge at some point. I'm not actually sure how that happened, but that'll slow our upgrades down a little bit. But it's fine. We're clearly still doing just fine. So I'm not too worried about it. We'll have the Berthas suppress this line here, and we'll use that to establish ourselves on these power zones. In fact, use that power zone to hit the spore. I think I'm actually going to hit this one next. So that'll free up my entire northern flank. Let's get started on that. Excellent, that's the north cleared. Let's go ahead and move our mortar up there. Get a beam there to help cover whatever's left of the spores coming in, which isn't a lot, but it's still enough that I should be wary of it. Okay, great. And now let's go ahead and resume our attack toward this line here. If we can take out that central one, I can use the power zone to hit the other two. Maybe even that air exclusion tower. Although I'm not too concerned about those because I don't really use the air very much. Though maybe I should. But even still, it's nice to have yet another structure not to worry about. And I honestly can't remember if I have to eliminate everything. Like, will the match end if I just eliminate the emitters, or do I have to hit the exclusion towers first? Or yeah, hit those before the level will end. Which I guess we can just make the point moot by just taking it out anyway. Okay, great. Did hit all three. So that should be basically it for now. I'm just gonna finish it up. Feels good to be done with that one. And it'll especially feel good to be done with this one. This one has been a right pain in the butt. As you can see, I was up very late doing that. It was like, 1 to 2 in the morning. So let's see, which is my earliest one? This one. This is the one that I started with. So part of what makes this level so hard. In fact, let me start it from the beginning so you can see what's going on. The game wants me to start on this little plateau here. I found that that's not really all that tenable, and you'll see why in a moment. But I started up here and just tried to get my power grid going on this little plateau up at the top. And then, as I'll show you in a moment, the creeper starts coming in pretty fast thanks to all the digitalis. And so it's really not, like, I can't really afford to laze around. But I still have options here. And what I do use this plateau for is establishing my front line. Because since it's raised up, it is a little bit easier for me to hold this area from the top of the plateau. Just a little bit. Yeah, and as you can see, the creeper's already starting to pile up super high, like especially in this area here. So I use mortars to hopefully try and cut down on that a little bit. And then now that my power grid is sort of set up, I am trying to get my reactors to boost that as much as possible. Just trying to grab every little bit that I can out of these collectors, because especially once it starts filling up these lower levels, it's just going to become an absolute nightmare. I think I'm going to move on to the next save point I had, but just be aware that like this area in particular was really a pain. Okay, so this is my first save point. I did manage to get it a little stable. You can see, like I said, it's just piling up so hard around here, and even like over here, it's starting to get out of control. It's just super thick on the ground everywhere. I'm just trying to, like, especially this plateau. That's the thing that I'm really trying the most to hold right now. But it's, as you can see, proving a little difficult. Because the digitalis is helping it pile up so high that's just immediately starting to flow over the little rim of the plateau there. But I did eventually find a way around it by managing my flanks and things like that. And this is let's get out of here before that really collapses in on me. Oopsie, no, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, okay. Well, rest assured, I did eventually get to a point where, I used some shields to help me out, and I did eventually get to this point where, I've got turf started, and I'm leveling things out, and I am just slowly getting that secured base. As you can see here, most of my line is actually based around mortars. I basically was just using pulse guns to keep these flatter sections clear. And I did try using larger amounts of pulse guns as my mainstay, but it didn't really work out all that well. So I did end up having to use mortars for the most part, which didn't help. It kind of hurt me in some ways because, I eventually couldn't support it, because the mortars are more expensive to run than the pulse guns are. So yeah, that proved a bit of a pain, but I did eventually get to a place where we're handling it, and we are holding the line here. The mortars aren't enough to keep it back, and now it's just a matter of expanding our little platform here and getting work done. And I did eventually expand my line out to the point where, I've got this whole area locked down, got it all raised up, I've got my power grid set up a bit more efficiently, and I've got my Berthas firing. I'm hoping to secure this totem here so we can start our upgrades. In fact, did I already build a fort? Oh, it's up here, yes. Okay, great. So yeah, I'm now at a point where I feel like I am comfortable enough to start actually pushing out and gaining some ground. So I've now expanded my hold to the point where we are just about to hit the emitters here. So yeah, I'd say this is going well. I cannot express how difficult this was to get started. Like having to deal with that early surge and just how thick it was piling on. That was kind of a pain, but it's okay because we finished now. Well, almost. I have to actually do it, but I mean, I'm close enough. Alright, that's this entire area clear now. And I guess I'll just let the Berthas do what they want for now, and then we'll start clearing up this side of the map and clean up the last of them. Take out the last emitters. Really does feel good to be done with that. 4 hours, 23 minutes. A lot of that was just trying to hold on. But I guess that does go to show, like, yeah, I had misjudged. Like, it seems like there is a bit of variance still, where, yeah, they're harder in general, but some of them are, like, not quite as hard as others here. Which, I mean, I'm okay with that, but yeah, it's good to have confirmed that some of these levels are going to be rather difficult, and something I'll have to spend relatively significant time on. But I will spare you from most of that, unless you want to see it, which I imagine most people probably don't, but I don't know. I'm always open for considering feedback, things like that. But anyway, that's all besides the point. On the next episode, we will go ahead and start on these new planets out here. And I mentioned at the beginning of the episode that I plan to do once a week. I think I'm going to do it on Friday. I'm actually not sure at this point. I might want to. I figured Friday so that it's like, you know, you come home over the weekend and now you have something new you can watch. But I don't know. It might be easier for me to put this up on Monday. But whatever the case, I'll figure it out. But maybe expect it to start shifting over to Friday. But anyway, like I said, I'll figure that out. So on the next episode, we'll get started on all of this. I'll figure out how to make a schedule that actually works, and we'll proceed our way through Tormented Space. So until then, see you later.